Hello everyone, welcome back to our class 12 economics series. I hope you have watched all the previous parts because today we are starting one of the most important topics of the entire national income chapter, that is the methods of measuring national income. Before I ask you a question, think about this. Imagine someone says, how rich is India? Or how much does India produce in 1 year? Can we simply count every product one by one? Imagine counting every mobile, every car, every kilogram of wheat, every packet of biscuit, every laptop, every shirt, every service provided by doctors, teachers, engineers, banks, hotels, and thousands of businesses. Is that practically possible? Of course not. That's why economists have developed scientific method to calculate total production of an economy. Today we will study the first and one of the most important methods, the value added method. This topic is extremely important because questions based on value added method, double counting, and numericals are frequently asked in CBSE Board Examination. By the end of today's class, you will be able to solve board numericals confidently and understand why economists never count the same product twice. So let's begin. First of all, let's understand what we actually mean by measuring national income. Whenever economists say they are measuring national income, they are trying to calculate the total value of all final goods and services produced within a specific period, usually one financial year. Notice I use the word final goods. Why not every good? Let's understand with an example. Imagine a bakery sells bread. To make bread, it first buys flour. The flour mill buys wheat from the farmer. Now suppose we count wheat, flour and bread separately. Then what will happen? The value of wheat is already included in flour. The value of flour is already included in bread. If we add all three, we will count the same value again and again. That would give us incorrect national income. Okay, so to avoid this problem, economists use three different methods. The first is value added method, where we calculate how much value each producer adds. The second is income method, where we calculate all incomes earned. The third one is expenditure method, where we calculate total spending on final goods and services. An important board point to remember that is if all three methods are applied correctly, they should give the same national income. In today's lesson, we will study only value added method in detail. Now let's understand the heart of today's lesson, value added. Instead of memorizing the definition, let's think about something from daily life. Suppose your mother buys flour worth 50. She uses the flour, adds sugar, butter, milk and chocolate, bakes a cake and sells it for 200. Now here's my question for you. Did she create 200 of the value? No. Why? Because 50 was already there in flour she bought. She actually created only extra value through her ingredients, skills and efforts. So the value she added is 150. That is exactly what economists call value added. Let's take another example. A farmer grows wheat and sells it for 100 rupees. A flour mills buy the wheat and sell flour for 180 rupees. Has the flour mill created 180? No, it has created only 80 because 100 was already present in the wheat. Then the bakery buys the flour and sells the bread for 300. Again, bakery has not created 300. It has only created 120. This process continues throughout the economy. Every producer adds only some extra value. That's why economists calculate value added, not the full selling price every time. Remember this question whenever you hear the term value added. How much new value has the producer created? If you can answer that question, you have already understood the topic. Now let's convert the concept into a formula. The formula is very simple. Value added is equals to value of output minus intermediate consumption. Let's understand each term carefully. First, what is value of output? It means the total value of goods and services produced by a producer during a year. Second, what is intermediate consumption? These are the goods and services that are used for production or during production. For example, if the bakery buys flour, butter, sugar, milk to make bread or cake, these items are intermediate goods because they are used in production process. Let's solve a very small example. Suppose a furniture maker or manufacturer sells table worth 10 lakh. To make those table, he purchased wood, nails, glue and polish worth 6 lakh. What is a value added? Use the formula. Value added is 10 lakh minus 6 lakh, which is 4 lakh. This 4 lakh is the new value created by furniture manufacturer. Here's a memory trick for the board examination. Whenever you see the words value added, immediately think output minus inputs. This one line will help you solve almost every basic numerical from this topic. Now we have understood the formula. Next question is very important. If every producer is adding value, then why can't we simply add selling price of every producer? That leads us to one of the important concepts in CBSE Economics, double counting. Let's understand that in the next slide. Now that we know that what value added means, let's solve a simple example together. Imagine there are 3 producers involved in making bread. The first producer is a farmer. He grows wheat and sells it to flour mill for 100 rupees. Now think carefully. Did the farmer purchase any raw material from another producer to grow this wheat? For this simple example, let's assume no. So the farmer's value of output is 100, intermediate consumption is 0, therefore value added is 100. Now the wheat reaches the flour mill. The flour mill buys the wheat for 100, grinds it to flour, packs it and sells it for 180. Many students think the flour mill has added 180 rupees. That's incorrect. Remember, 100 rupees was already created by the farmer. The flour mill has only created extra 80. Now the flour goes to the bakery. The bakery buys the flour for 180 rupees, makes bread which sells it for 300. Has the bakery created 300? No, it has created only 120 rupees because 180 was already present in the flour. So now let's calculate total value added. Farmer 100, flour mill 80, bakery 120. Total value added 300. Notice something interesting. The value of final bread is also 300. That's not coincidence. Total value added is always equal to value of final product. This is one of the most important concepts of your CBSE board examination. If you understood this example, you will find value added numerical much easier. Now let's understand one of the favorite CBSE theory questions, double counting. I'll ask you a question. If the farmer sold the wheat for 100, flour mill sold flour for 180 and bakery sold bread for 300, can we simply add all three? Let's try. 100 plus 180 plus 300. That gives us 580. Does that mean India produced good worth rupees 580? No, the correct value is only 300. Why? Because the 100 value of wheat is already included in 180 value of flour, and 180 value of flour is already included in 300 value of bread. When we add all three selling prices, we count the same value multiple times. This mistake is called double counting. Here's a simple real life analogy. Imagine you buy a pizza for 500 rupees. The pizza shop uses flour, cheese, vegetables and sauce to make it. If someone says the pizza is worth 500, the flour is worth 100 and the cheese is worth 80 and the vegetable are worth 50, should we again all these things? No, because those ingredients are already included in pizza price. The same logic applies in economics. So how do economists avoid double counting? There are only two correct methods. Count only final goods or the value of final goods, or add the value added in each stage of production. Both methods will give you the same answer. Memory trick is double counting means same value counted more than once. If the examiner asks how can double counting be avoided, write these 2 points. Now students often ask me, how do I solve a value added method numerical in the board examination? The answer is simple. Follow these 5 steps every time. Step 1. Find the value of output of each producer. This is the total value of goods or services sold. Step 2. Find the intermediate consumption. These are the raw materials and other inputs used in production. Step 3. Calculate value added using the formula. Value added means value of output minus intermediate consumption. Step 4. Repeat this calculation for every producer in the economy. Step 5. Add the value added of each producer. The total gives you the national income or gross value added before any further adjustment if required in advanced questions. Here's a tip that can save you marks. Never jump directly to the final answer. Write each step clearly. In CBSE board examination, stepwise working often help you earn marks, even if you make a calculation mistake later. Always write the formula first, then substitute the value, then calculate the answer. Now let's discuss the precautions. These may look simple, but CBSE frequently asks them in theory questions. Precaution 1. Include only final goods. Never count intermediate goods separately because they are already included in value of final good. Precaution 2. Exclude second-hand goods. Suppose you buy a second-hand car. Has new production taken place? No. The car was counted when it was produced for the first time. So, second-hand goods are excluded. However, if a dealer earns a commission for selling that car, that commission is included because it is payment for a current service. Precaution number 3. Exclude transfer payment. Example includes pension, scholarship, unemployment allowances, and gifts. These payments are made without any current production of goods or services. Therefore, they are not included in national income. Precaution 4. Avoid double counting. Either count only the final goods or calculate the value added at each stage. Step 5 or Precaution 5. Include production for self-consumption wherever applicable. For example, if a farmer grows wheat and consumes part of it at home, these production still has economic value and is included in national income. So memory trick is remember the word FSTD. F. Final goods only. S. Second-hand goods excluded. T. Transfer payment excluded. D. Double counting avoided. S. Self-consumption included. If you remember this trick, FSTD, you will recall all major precautions during the examination. Now it's time to solve a board-style numerical. This type of question is very common in CBSE examination, and many students lose marks because they either forget the formula or don't write the steps. Here's the question. Value of output 900 crores. Intermediate consumption 350 crore. We need to find value added. Before solving, I always recommend writing the formula first. This not only helps you in avoiding mistake but also earns method marks in the board examination. The formula is value added is equals to value of output minus intermediate consumption. Now let's substitute the value. So value added is equals to 900 crores minus 350 crores, that is equal to 550 crore. So the correct answer is 550 crore. Notice this. The example is actually very simple if you remember the formula. Never do the subtraction directly. Write the formula first, then substitute the value and then calculate the final answer. Now let me ask you a question. If I change the value of output to 1200 crore and intermediate consumption to 700 crore, what will be the value added? Pause the video and solve it yourself. If your answer is 500 crores, then you have understood the concepts perfectly. Now let's discuss the mistakes that students commonly make in the exams. The first mistake is counting intermediate goods separately. For example, if you count wheat, flour and bread individually, you will overestimate the national income because you have counted the same value multiple times. The second mistake is double counting. Always remember that double counting meaning adding the value of same product more than once. The third mistake is including transfer payments. Many students include pensions, scholarships, gifts, or employment allowances in national income. This is incorrect because these payments are not made in return for the current production. The fourth mistake is including second-hand goods. If a 5-year-old car is sold today, it won't be included because it has already counted when it was produced. On the dealer's commission, if it is included because it is a payment for a current service. The fifth mistake is forgetting the formula. Students often panic during the examination and try to solve questions mentally. Don't do that. Write the formula first. It only takes few seconds and reduces the chance of making mistakes. Golden rule. Whenever you are confused, ask yourself once, has any new production taken place this year? If the answer is yes, it is usually included. If the answer is no, it is generally excluded. This one question can help you solve many theory questions. Before we end today's class, let's quickly revise everything we have learned. Firstly, we understood the national income is total value of final goods and services produced in an economy during one financial year. Then we learned there are three methods to measure national income: value-added income method, expenditure method. Today we focused only on value-added method. We learned the most important formula: value-added is equals to value of output minus intermediate consumption. Then we understood the concept of double counting and learned how to avoid it by counting only final goods or by adding value added at each stage. We also discussed important precautions such as excluding transfer payments, excluding second-hand goods, and avoiding double counting. Finally, we solved a board-style numerical. If you have understood these concepts, you have completed one of the most important topics in Chapter 1. Congratulations, you have successfully completed value-added method, one of the most important concepts in national income. But don't stop here. After this video, I want you to do three things. First, revise today's formula at least 3 times. Second, solve 2 or 3 numericals on your own. The more questions you solve, the more confident you will become. Third, go to precautions once again because they are frequently asked as theory questions in the CBSE Board Examination. In the next video, we will cover the income method and expenditure method. We'll learn their formulas, components, precautions, and solve board level numericals so that you can confidently answer any question from this chapter. If this video helped you understand the concept, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel and share it with your classmates. It really motivates me to create more free lessons for you. If you have any doubts, write them in the comments. I'll try to answer them. Thank you for watching. Keep learning, keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next economics class.